Gbillah, representing Gwe East, Gwe West Federal Constituency of Benue State. I rise to move a motion on the constitutional breaches, impunity, and other infractions against the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, and the need to ensure probity and enforcement of statutory oversight functions. The House is aware that considering the initial approval of $2.5 billion for the National Integrated Power Project by the National Assembly and the National Council of State in August 2005 from the excess crude oil account belonging to the 3 tiers of government, the federal government incorporated the Niger Delta Power Holding Company as a limited liability company to serve as a special purpose vehicle to manage NIPP assets and projects by employing best business practices. The House is also aware that the NIPP was a government-funded fast-track initiative conceptualized in 2004 to enhance Nigeria's electricity supply before the full implementation of the private sector-driven Electric Power Sector Reform Act. The House is further aware that the NIPP encompassed projects from every aspect of the electricity value chain, including generation, transmission, and distribution, and thus required an initial investment in the construction of 10 power plants in different parts of the country, amongst several other projects. The House is concerned that a company with majority shareholding held by the federal government, which manages the utilization of over $12 billion already approved by the National Assembly and the National Council of State since its incorporation in 2005, does not submit its annual budget and project plans for appropriation by the National Assembly, while it generates an operating surplus which cannot be determined because it is neither divulged nor paid into the coffers of the federal government, but rather expended by the company without legislative approval. The House is also alarmed at reports that the NDPHC has commenced the sale of NIPP assets, including power plants, and is also awarding numerous inflated contracts without due process, and has continued to pay outrageous amounts as way-leave payments to communities with significant cost implications to the government, and is further reported to have received funding of about $9 billion from the Central Bank of Nigeria for priority projects, but has allegedly diverted these funds to other areas. The House is also alarmed at the lack of completion of the 10 power plants awarded by the NDPHC since 2006, although a few of these plants have been completed and handed over since 2010, but a particular local contractor, Roxin Engineering, has refused to hand over 4 power plants it was awarded in controversial circumstances, and appears to be holding the federal government to ransom over completion of the plants, while the equipment and infrastructure continue to experience wear and tear due to the protracted delay. The House is worried that the NDPHC appears to believe that it is only accountable to the office of the Vice President, and has therefore refused to subject itself to the oversight and appropriation roles of the National Assembly, particularly this very honorable House, while its actions and inactions have adversely affected the power requirements of the country. The House therefore resolves to mandate the Committee on Power to conduct an investigative hearing involving all relevant stakeholders to identify any constitutional breaches and ascertain the veracity of reported infractions by the NDPHC, and report to the House within 6 weeks for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Second Honorable Engineer Dow.